You've seen Renée Zellweger on the big screen, but for the first time, you finally get to see her on the small screen with Netflix's new prestige neo-noir What If. The show is kind of a bonkers adaptation of Indecent Proposal, and we have tons of thoughts here on the TV Pilot Reviews panel, so stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TV Pilot Reviews here on AfterBuzz TV. This is the show where we review Hollywood's hottest new pilots and give you our hot takes here on AfterBuzz, just based on the first episode alone of these series. It's important to know that this is not an after show. This is simply a show where we review a brand new pilot every week. And if you want an after show, either we already do have one or we don't yet, and we'd like you to let us know in the comments that you would like an after show for this. So today we will be reviewing only episode 1 of What If, which just dropped on Netflix last Friday the 24th. My name is Jeff Graham. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm surrounded by a group of brilliant panelists, including Miss Mina Wahab.
Hey.
And Miss Linda Antwi.
Hey, guys.
Two sharp minds who love these types of shows, I think. I don't want to make assumptions about how you felt about the show, but I'm especially excited to hear both of your takes on this. Mina, because you're our newest panelist, I want to start with you. What did you think of the pilot to What If? Oh, and sorry, real quick, I want to let you guys know, we will have 2 sections to this show. One non-spoiler section, that'll be the first 15 or so minutes. So if you want to hear our take without having the show spoiled for you, tune in until we tell you not to, which is when you go into our spoiler-filled section for those of you who have already seen the show and want to hear our more in-depth thoughts. We talk a bit about the development of the show as well, giving you some, if you like this show, you'll also like this show types of discussions, and there's just a lot coming down the pike. So now we're going to give you our overall thoughts. Mina, starting with you.
I really liked it. It was really engrossing. I love that there was this whole flashback thing where we're trying to figure out what led the protagonist to this point where she's barging into a hotel room drenched in water, and it's super dramatic. So, yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really interesting, and the whole time we're all thinking, okay, what's going on behind the scenes? Like, what is Renée Zellweger's motive? What does she want? Like, she has all the money in the world, and she's trying to buy them. But why? Like, it's not for the sex. It's obviously for some greater purpose that we'll find out later. So that's why I was, like, so captivated by it. Like, I want to know what the whole reasoning is behind this weird social experiment.
Mm-hmm. Linda, what do you think?
I loved it. And I have to bring up, last show that we reviewed and talk about, like, guilty pleasure. This is how you do guilty pleasure. This is how you do flashbacks. This is how you engage the characters and allow the viewer to actually care about the characters in a pilot. So watching the pilot alone, I was completely engrossed. Like, okay, so this is why I care about this, because they laid it out in a way where, I'm going to care about these characters, especially, they're not newlyweds, but the couple, the couple that's like the perfect couple.
They sort of have a newlywed feel because they're so deeply in love.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I care about this.
Yeah.
I care about this and I care about them, and what an amazing couple. Like,
Yeah.
that's how I felt.
Yeah.
So I was all sucked in.
I liked it. I don't know if I liked it quite as much as you guys. I agree it's totally a guilty pleasure show. I'd almost call it guilty pleasure porn in the sense that it's truly designed to cater to sort of our base instincts. So in the same way that, like, I call a show like Fixer Upper, it's like interior design porn. Or if you guys watch Big Little Lies, that's almost like aspiration porn when you look at the way the houses are so beautiful. I don't even mean it negatively. I just mean it in the sense of certain shows are designed to hit certain pleasure centers of our brain. And I feel like this is truly designed, even written and shot, to, like, stimulate the guilty pleasure centers of our brain, like you said, Linda.
But that's exactly what you want for summer TV.
Yeah, it's a perfect summer show. You're right.
It's perfect summer show, and it's exactly what you want.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. It's so I think there was times I wished it was a little bit more maybe like a serious sort of prestige-y type of show, but
really?
I don't know. I don't know exactly where I'm sitting, but I do think if you're looking for sort of a soapy, exciting, edge of your seat, kind of silly show, I would say this is a good show to watch.
This is exactly what that is.
Yeah, that's what it's trying to be, and I think it's doing it well. I sometimes wish some of these characters were a little deeper, particularly this character played by Blake Jenner. I found him to be A pretty one-dimensional, just perfect hero type. He's a firefighter who loves to have very intimate sex with his wife whenever she wants it. But what I actually did appreciate this about, what I appreciated about this a lot was I feel like he's playing the character that women almost always play in TV, which is like the beautiful, often naked, one-dimensional, perfect housewife. He is that character in this, and the women are the complicated characters. So what I really like about this show is probably my favorite thing about this show is I think it's subversively taking what's typically sort of a male-oriented, sexy female show and making it for women. I feel like this show is really delivered for a female gaze and a female sensibility and subverting what we usually expect for these sort of guilty pleasure noir shows. So I really, really appreciated that. I feel like this show was written for the female gaze, which I thought was pretty cool because that doesn't happen often in television.
Yeah, I did feel that. It was even mentioned that he's like the trophy husband.
Yes.
So yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, like this is kind of like every girl's dream, like the perfect fireman who is completely loyal to, you know, your cause and like, you know, you've taken out loans that you borrowed from your parents and you have to pay them back for, and you're so on board, like even though you know this company is going under, like you're so on board with it's okay, we gave it our all, we're gonna figure out how to pay it back. Like it's like every girl's dream guy in a sense, like, and it did feel a little one-dimensional, and there were times I really liked it, but there were times where it's like, oh, like what are the skeletons in his closet? Like, because there are these weird flashbacks where you see like,
we did see some of that. You're right. That's a good point. I'm not giving him enough credit.
Those flashbacks, they felt like, I don't know how to explain it. Like it felt like the skeletons in his closet would be something like stupid or cheesy. And that's the part that I was like, that's why I was like, I know we're not supposed to like watch ahead now, I know. But like I watched a little bit ahead and I was like, I wonder what the skeletons in his closet are. Yeah. But it's like, we're not going to find that out in episode 2. Like, come on, they're probably going to drag this out.
I'm sure they will.
Much longer.
Well, I think on some level we all kind of agree that whatever this show, it's being exactly what it wants to be, and you have to applaud a show that's doing that, right? The question is whether or not I'm going to tune into sort of this guilty pleasure summer noir. Personally, I don't know if I'm going to keep watching, but that's not to necessarily discredit the show. If you are a fan of soapy, edge of your seat, maybe melodramatic, but subversive summer noirs, you will like this show.
So are you saying you're a pass play?
I'm a pass play. So I'm probably going to pass, but I would recommend this show to audiences who like this type of TV.
What about you?
You know, not to like diss soap operas, but I feel like I don't know, I feel like it's kind of a diss to call it a soap opera because it doesn't feel like the acting is that melodramatic. I think maybe like the setting and the lightning and the rain and like all of that, like that's really extra. That's like a little over the top. But I thought Renée Zellweger did a really great job. I thought it was entertaining. She's like this like 80s supervillain. Like okay, now it does sound melodramatic when I put it like that. But I don't know, I liked it because I'm not a fan of soaps, but I was a fan of this, and I don't know how to even explain this show without someone just like sitting down and watching Netflix.
So will you continue to watch?
I will, but when I saw episode 2 I was like but I still want to know what happened, so yeah.
So if you were gonna say to the audience, are you gonna play
I recommend it.
You recommend it?
I recommend it, yeah, but I feel like it could go either way. Like I'll be disappointed if the ending is something stupid where we find out that the social experiment, like, I'll be annoyed if this is, like, Renée Zellweger has, like, a skeleton in her closet and she's been hurt, so she wants to hurt, like, another couple. Like, if it's something, like, ridiculous like that, where that's moral of the story, I'll be so annoyed. But if it's, like, some really thought-provoking reason why she's doing this, why she's funding Imogen, like, if there's some sort of commentary on our healthcare system or, like, anything else, then I will really, really enjoy it. But I don't know if it's going to go in that direction. It feels kind of like it's more about testing the boundaries of their relationship and trust.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I don't think that it's going to get super deep and talk about healthcare and all of that. I think it's a complete guilty pleasure. I'm going to be a play. I think that if you want to jump into a new show that is kind of like mindless but completely entertaining,
so entertaining
and engrossing, and see like you said, like a superstar back on TV, and we're getting a lot of that lately.
Yeah, we are.
So I find that really, and women specifically, I find that very like a whole genre and thing. But yeah, I'm totally going to continue to watch it.
Well, I'm glad. This is the kind of show where I think it's smarter than people are going to give it credit for.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm glad you'll be watching it, Linda. I also, at the risk of sounding sexist, I mean this in the best way. I do think the show has kind of a female bent, which is great. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I kept watching it thinking this show is smart, very smartly designed, in the same way that Sex and the City, I think, is playing to female fantasies, or the way Entourage is more typically playing to male fantasies. I think this show seems like it's designed with a female demo-targeted sensibility, which I think is great. I don't know, maybe I'm reading into that too much, but I think particularly with the character of Blake Jenner, it was just very interesting to see like the picture-perfect trophy husband and sort of the messed up, relatable female. I don't know, do you guys disagree with what I'm saying? I'm trying to read you here, Linda.
I'm trying to decide if I agree with you. I definitely think it has a slightly female slant to it, but at the same time, I think for me, what registered was being like 20, 30 something and trying to figure life out and your relationships out, because what you do have is a lot of powerful, successful female leads here, which you don't get to see very often. So you have like the doctor, and you have this entrepreneur who's doing very well, and then you have, Renee, who's like the ultimate, right? So I think that, I don't know, I think it can appeal, it's like life. So I think it can appeal, like I get what you're saying, like it'll appeal to females because everyone's like perfect and gorgeous and the ideal like husband. But I also think it will appeal to, anyone that's in our generation that's trying to figure our lives out and trying to be successful in life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, people who are on the precipice of a big life change.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Well, speaking of these performances, let's go ahead and look at this cast quickly. Of course, we probably should start by talking about Renée Zellweger. Even though she's not necessarily the main character of this show, I think the show's built around her, and Netflix is, I think, using her as the main engine to draw promotion.
Yep.
She's playing... In fact, Linda, I'll let you take the reins here.
She's playing Anne Montgomery. You know her from Jerry Maguire, Bridget Jones' Diary, Here and Now, The Bee Movie, Miss Porter, Cinderella Man, etc., etc., etc. And I think that she is the show.
Yes.
I think that all the characters kind of just like... They're supporting her. And it's terrible to say, but anytime she's on the screen... she like steals the whole entire thing for me, at least.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%. I feel like she really does steal the show. Even when there's like separate side plots, I feel like we're all wondering, so what's Renée Zellweger up to?
Yeah,
what's Anne Montgomery doing? Where is she? Like, is she in her, like, what's she concocting?
Is she gonna pop up in the scene?
She's the heat of the show, for sure.
Yeah, she definitely is. And I think, I thought the casting was really great. Like, casting Renée Zellweger in this. Like, we have never seen her in this type of role before, so.
Then we have Juan Castano, who plays Marcus Ruiz, and he is the husband of Keith Powers. You know him from Shades of Blue, Bull, and the OA. And then we have Samantha Marie Ware. She plays the Dr. Angela Archer. And you know her from Glee, from BAM, from Bull, from NCIS New Orleans. And she is actually getting a lot of work. So if we're looking for the photo, she's in a white tank top and jeans. If you go to your left on the screen, you can scroll down and you'll find her. So keep going down, you'll find her. Next up, we have Keith Powers, who plays Todd Archer. And that's Todd Archer, exactly. He plays the husband of Marcos, and you know him from Straight Outta Compton, Faking It, Famous in Love. So it's all these like millennial type shows, which I think is great. We talked a little bit about Blake Jenner, who plays Sean Donovan, the husband. He's from Glee, which I did not know. Did you know he was from Glee? I never watched the show.
He was
not
cast
recognize
on
him at all.
Do you guys remember the Glee Project where they turned Glee into a reality show to find the next cast member?
No.
He was the winner of
all.
that show, so that's how he got his start as like a teeny bopper heartthrob.
Oh,
Really?
OMG.
Yeah.
That is a great fun fact.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I did not know that.
Yes, we can sing too. He's like a triple threat.
He's from American Animals and Billy Boy as well. And then we have Jane Levy, and I'm really interested in her character. So she plays Lisa Donovan. You know her from Suburgatory, Castle Rock, The Pretenders. What do you think of her performance in this?
I think
she's the first one with the red, so that very first one that that's her.
I think she's doing her job. I think all of these actors are turning in performances. If I have minor issues with this show, it's kind of the way scenes play out and maybe the way things are written. Whenever a pilot has canceled all of my appointments, I raise my eyebrows a bit just because I'm like, oh. So I feel like these performers are doing the best they can with writing that maybe sometimes feels a bit like it's borrowing from a lot of things that have come from before. Mm-hmm. But I think all these actors are doing great, including her.
What do you think?
You know, even though she's supposed to be the protagonist, I wasn't like super feeling it.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was extremely likable, but I think maybe her character was written that way. You don't empathize with her in a crazy way for some reason. Like for me, I'm more interested in the story. What's gonna happen? How's this gonna unfold? Mm-hmm. But I didn't feel like a great deal of empathy for her, even though she's going through a really tough time. And I don't know what it is about her personality or the way she's portraying this character that makes me unempathetic to her plight.
I think that out of all the cast members that we've seen thus far, she is the weakest link, which is interesting to me because oftentimes we talk about the writing on a show, and I don't think it's the writing. I think the writing is consistent. I think like the cheesy lines are the cheesy lines, and people are nailing it, and especially Renee. But something about her performance for me so far, which is the only thing I'll say that I wasn't completely sold on, was, like you said, her as the protagonist. Like, out of all the characters that I care about, and I do care about these characters I write, she was the least. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't figure out why, and it just felt very like she was delivering her lines.
Going through the motions.
Yeah, she was hitting it, but there was nothing even extra. And even Blake Jenner, surprising that he's a reality guy, I even feel like his performance even was better. Like he nailed it.
She felt like a foil, like she's supposed to contrast like all these people who are like more intense personalities, maybe like not so put together, because she seems like very put together, very organized. We're doing this and this, right. And like her life's together, and then all the other characters surrounding her are having things fall apart. I don't know, like it's just, yeah, I don't know if it's her acting job or if it's the way it's written. I really do think her character was written in a more one-dimensional way. If we are talking about like, you know, multi-dimensional characters, didn't feel like she was that well-rounded of a character.
Yeah, I like that they subvert some of the stereotypes we expect of a female protagonist. She's a businesswoman, she's running a startup, and she's a scientist. I feel like those three components are typically donned for male characters in television, so I really appreciated that. But I think I agree that if you really scratch beneath what she is, I didn't necessarily get a strong sense of who she is in this pilot. Yeah. But we only watched one episode. And again, I feel like these criticisms, I often level at pilots, and this show is doing what it set out to do.
Yeah, so, for sure.
I think with that, we'll get more into performances in a little bit during our spoiler section, guys. Particularly, I'm excited to talk about Renée Zellweger's performance because it's quite a character she's playing.
I love it.
But let's talk a bit about the development of this show. It was created by Michael Kelly, who doesn't have a ton of preceding credits, but he did work for The OC, which I think shares some of the same summertime soapy but well-made TV.
One Tree Hill.
He created the show Revenge, which was, I think, really shares some of the DNA with this show.
Yeah.
There was a couple times I almost thought there's a version of this show that could work for network.
Yeah.
Especially, I would have loved to have seen like a Shonda take on a show like this. I think at its best, I was reminded of a Shonda show.
Really?
Yeah, and at its worst, I was reminded of a show that I wish were written by Shonda.
Actually, you know what? I read a quote and it said it's like Grey's Anatomy meets Basic Instinct.
Yes.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I just think Shonda does such a good job of making ridiculous things happen in a way that is so urgent and believable.
Yeah.
There were times I was like, I would love if she were just a consulting producer on this show, because I really think she could have brought like a brilliance to this that really she can bring onto her soapy network shows.
Listen,
I love
anything is
Shonda.
possible because Shonda's going to be at Netflix. She
know.
is at Netflix now, so anything is possible. I mean, this is an anthology series, which I just found out, and it's apparently going to tackle different morality tales on each season and what the ripple effect of one single decision is on everyone's lives and like the followed effect. So, you know, Shonda's at Netflix, maybe next season 2.
Bring her in, get her in that room. I think she
real.
would bring such a spice to this
Anything is
show.
possible.
I feel like that whole theme of like what one thing, the whole ripple effect thing was like so evident in that very first monologue we see of Renée Zellweger, and you're like, what is this show about?
Right.
And she's talking about how people say everything happens for a reason,
Yes.
but does it? And I'm like, okay, so this is obviously part of her book and part of her philosophy, so I feel like the whole ending and the whole series is going to tie back to that theme of like, this, like, did everything happen for a reason? Well, you made this choice, and that's why you're facing the consequences for making this deal. You know,
Absolutely.
like that's what it
At
comes
any
down
cost.
to. And then she's gonna have another monologue at the very end.
Yes.
The last episode about that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very cheesy at the end, but I might really like it.
Yeah. Let's quickly talk about shows that this is similar to. This will be the last thing we go over before our spoiler section, guys. But I did think of Shonda. I thought of well-written, female-driven network shows, actually. I think, aside from the man butts and F-words, this could live on, like, an ABC, I think. So I would say if you're into the sort of on the edge of your seat dramas that like an ABC often runs, this is a show you should check out.
Yeah, so I wrote down if you like revenge, sharp objects.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Big Little Lies, Quicksand, any of those type of soapy shows, even the remake of Dallas, you'll love this show.
Dynasty.
Oh,
good. They aired in the same block, so it totally
Dallas Dynasty. You
could
know
be
what
either
I
one. They
mean.
both start with
Yeah.
D, right?
It felt like a Grey's Anatomy meets Black Mirror. Like there's like this social commentary part of like if you make a decision, not, like where is this gonna go? And then also there was like the hospital drama and the cheating and the scandals and whatever else. And someone commented in our chat. Millicent D said, I'd like to know more about the writer Mike Kelly's childhood. This show and Revenge have some very cruel women. So, yeah, I guess like if you like Revenge, maybe you'll like this too.
It's an interesting point. That Melissa, I hope you tune into our after show for this. We start coverage for that tomorrow, and they'll get more in depth with some of these character questions. Before we throw to our spoiler section, we just want to let you guys know a little bit more about what we do here at the network. Linda, if you'd like to let our fans know sort of what we're up to over here, that'd be awesome.
Yes, guys, thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV talk. We love you, and in order for us to grow, we need a little bit of your help. If you could like, subscribe, 5 stars on iTunes, wherever you watch or listen to us, we would truly appreciate it. Tell a friend, tell your sister, your cousin, whoever. Share on social media, whatever you want to do. And if you want to comment, we love interacting with you. And that's how a lot of our after shows, you know, all of a sudden appears, because you guys say we want it and we make it happen. So thank you so much for watching AfterBuzz TV and making us the ESPN of TV talk.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. At this point, we will be getting into our spoiler section.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
It's my favorite part.
Okay, we're going to start by talking about Renée Zellweger. So if you've seen the pilot, you know she's playing this sadistic venture capitalist who offers the money to potentially save the company of our protagonist only if she can take generic sex shell Blake Jenner's character, Sean, and have her way with him. That's really the premise of the show.
Yeah.
And Renée Zellweger is really embracing the opportunity to play this maniacal, badass power chick. How do we feel about her performance? Because so much of the success of the show hinges on it.
I thought it was so entertaining. Like the whole time I was like, what is she up to? What does she want? Like, why is she trying to? Oh, I need to like make sure I have each episode right. But like, what like? Why is she trying to like ruin their lives? Like, what is her MO? I just want to know. Like, she has all this money. She's giving them a quarter of what was promised, like the $80 million. So she has the $20 million investment. She already like has like a press release for it before the contract's even signed. Like, she's this mastermind chess player. And I'm like, but why? Like, what do you want? There's no way you're only doing this because you want sex. There's like, that would be such a shallow reading.
But it's not even really about the sex.
It's about the control.
It's not about the
It's about the control. It's about the, and she's testing them. Like, I feel like it's kind of like, she's kind of like this scientist running an experiment on lab rats. Like, what will they do if I manufacture this situation? Like, are they going to take the bait? Are they not going to take it? And she's just having so much fun with it.
I don't think it's that. For me, it was, she has everything. She's the untouchable investment woman, like the ultimate, this is what you want to achieve in your life. And I think she's not only bored, but I think that she has demons and that she's doing this to entertain herself. And obviously this guy specifically is tied to her history somehow, some way. And this was her end. She didn't just randomly be like, oh, you're a hot guy that is a bartender and I want to sleep with you. No, it's they're tied somehow. And she needs to like reel him in. And we didn't even see.
You think he knows that they're tied?
Who?
You think he knows?
He knows that there's a tie there, like that he wronged her in some way.
No, of course not. I think that she knows and he doesn't know.
Okay.
But I think he's gonna know by the end of the season.
Yeah.
Or will know. But
now I really want to see.
yeah, I think it's really good. And you know what I loved about her? I loved that, and I was watching it, and because I couldn't remember. Is it Basic Instinct or is it Indecent Proposal with?
Indecent
Sharon Stone?
Proposal is Demi Moore. What's his name? Woody Harrelson and Robert Redford.
So it's not that one. It's the one
with
with
Sharon
Sharon Stone.
Oh, Basic Instinct.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's Basic Instinct. When she sat down in front of the couple and she had her legs crossed,
yeah.
I was like, that's that show. And I couldn't think of what the name was, so that's what it is.
I literally was
Basic
thinking the
Instinct?
same thing. Like the way she was dressed, she was
All
so
of it, and
seductive but posh, and like the lighting and
Yeah.
the darkness.
And
I was thinking that.
Yeah, the way she was dressed and then the way she was crossing her legs all like exotic. Like it just was like legs everywhere. And I think that's what Basic Instinct was. Wasn't that I remember she's like in all white.
The white dress.
Yeah, and like just legs.
Glad you brought that up because this show is definitely deliberately calling back to the early kind of sex noir thrillers of the 90s
Yeah.
with a female twist, which I appreciate. So much so that there was a line in this episode where they say, this seems like some bad plot from an early 90s
Yeah.
movie. Sometimes I like when shows have that self-awareness. Sometimes I kind of roll my eyes. But there was this small touch where she said, well, it seems like a decent plan. Or is it an indecent plan? I could... they were just landing on a little thick there, I think. But
She's like, you guys are right about everything, but it wasn't a bad 90s movie. Like,
I know. But I think that Renée Zellweger is doing a nice job. I think
Yeah.
it's really hard to play these overblown, scenery-chewing villains, and I think one wrong move in a performance like this can really tilt the show into something it doesn't want to be. And I think she's having fun. It's great to watch actors have fun. And you can tell, she's been waiting for a chewy role like this, and Netflix gave it to her, and whether or not the show's good, it is great to see actors on screen doing what they love.
Yeah.
And I think she is doing a good job.
yeah, I agree.
Well, we don't have a ton of time, but I'd love to hear what you guys think of the show, particularly Renée Zellweger's performance, because I think that's kind of, again, the engine that this show is built around. Let's quickly rate the pilot, because that is always our final segment on the show.
Yeah, and so we rate from 0 to 5, 5 being woo, perfect, and 0 being blah.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I'm going to give it a 3.9.
Nice.
Yeah.
I really liked the pilot. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of in a similar realm. I want to say 3.5 because
Great.
it was like above average. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it was super, super entertaining. Like if I'm like judging it based on like, is this objectively one of the best shows I've ever seen? No, but it's objectively one of the most entertaining shows.
For sure. That's
I've
when it
ever
gets
seen.
tricky because there's a difference between a really good show and a really entertaining show.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of what this pilot has set out to do and whether or not it's accomplishing the goal, it's a good show. So I'm actually going to give it a 3.6. Even if it sounded like I was coming down hard on the show, I think it's really accomplishing exactly what it wants. And you have to credit a show that does that, because often shows don't do that.
Wow, Jeff. I don't think we've ever been in the same realm ever.
Yeah,
That's
we're agreeing.
amazing. Yeah, we're agreeing.
Cool. Any last thoughts on what/if before we make our way out of here?
No, watch it, guys. That's my last thought. Watch it. Tell us what you think about it.
Please do. Mina, anything?
Yeah, like, what if there's a spectacular ending and we don't watch it? Like,
I know.
what if this is, like, the show of our generation? So
Yeah.
I'm going to check it out.
So you are a play. We
I am.
converted Mina to a
No,
play.
I always was a play.
You were a play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't watch it unless you guys tell me I have to watch it. So I'm going to be on the edge of my seat waiting to hear from you guys. But speaking of, we really want to thank you guys for tuning in to TV Pilot Reviews today. As I mentioned, we're here every Wednesday at 5 p.m. reviewing new pilots, and we are here to tell you what you should and shouldn't be watching. And as we mentioned, this is a show we think you guys should check out. If you do end up checking it out, please tune into our after show coverage. It will be airing Thursday evenings. I don't know the exact time, but if you check our AfterBuzz TV Dramas channel, you can find the schedule there. You can also keep up with me if you want. My name is Jeff Graham. You can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mina Makes Magic, or go to my website, minamakesmagic.com.
Love it. And guys, all across social media, Linda's so girly.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week here on TV Pilot Reviews.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.